If you're still offering a free trial at your martial arts school, it's quietly killing your enrollments, and I'm gonna break down exactly why right now. And by the end of this video, you're gonna understand what the fastest growing schools today are doing and the real math behind why it actually works. And if you appreciate me making this type of content, let me know by gently tapping that like button. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first, let's talk about where the free trial even came from in the first place. And ever since the Gracies came over and introduced jiu-jitsu to the mainstream, schools have pretty much run the same play, right? Somebody shows interest, they want to show that the power of jiu-jitsu is real. They say, hey, come over here, try a class out, maybe try a second class out. And then from there, hopefully they can experience the magic of jiu-jitsu and see that they like it enough for them to actually want to sign up. And that's been the move for decades. And the schools that are growing right now the fastest today realize one important thing, and that's that free trials are completely overrated. Instead, they're borrowing a page from the gyms and the schools that are making the most money. And I'm not just talking about jiu-jitsu schools. I'm talking about the gyms that are making more than $1 million a year. These are going to be your CrossFit gyms, your big group personal training gyms. These gyms grew fast and kept around people longer because of one thing: a high ticket introductory program instead of a free trial. I call this the profit first method, because instead of giving away your value for free and letting people try and sample you out, you get paid upfront first for the value and the transformation you're about to deliver. So let's get into it and let's actually look at the real math behind what actually tells the story better. So let's say that you get 10 new students a month, right? It doesn't matter how you got them. It's the same leads, the same effort, the same ad spend either way. Okay. Now, with those same 10 students, with the free trial, most school owners that I talk to charge around $200 a month for a membership. So those 10 students bring in $2,000 that first month. And it sounds fine on paper, but here's the problem. The average free trial member from cold traffic only sticks around about 90 days from the moment that they sign up until the moment that they churn out. And that's actually one of the most consistent numbers in this industry. And so if we use the 3 months average as lifetime value, each of those students is only worth about $600 in total. So if we multiply that by 10, and those students are only worth $6,000 in total lifetime value. Not bad, right? But here's the thing. Here's where it actually gets interesting. Quick break. If you want the entire system behind this, from the high ticket offer to the follow-ups to the closing scripts, for less than the price of a rash guard, I made the entire system available to you guys called Infinite BJJ Leads. It's a course, and the link for that is down in the bottom below, link in the description or the pinned comment. Now let's get back into it. Take those same 10 students, but instead of a free trial offer, you sell them an $899 high ticket introductory program the same day, the same conversation, no free trial. That's $8,999 in revenue on day one before they even finish the program. That's over 4 times more than the amount of free trials for the same amount of work. Now, here's the part that most school owners miss. This is not just about more cash up front. It's a filter, and it filters out the person who's willing to invest $899 on day one. This is not a tire kicker looking for a Groupon cheap ass deal. They're investing with their money, not just their time. And I always like to say premium programs attract premium people. Free programs attract free type of people, right? So that filter is what creates the retention. And so when somebody finishes a high ticket program, their emotions are high, they hit their goals, and on average, we're saying that 50% of the people who finish the program upsell into your regular monthly membership. So that's 5 out of every 10 students that you get. And here's the thing, because these people came in through a bigger commitment, they're not churning out at 90 days. On average, we're seeing these people, these students stick around for 12 months or even more. And so at $200 a month, right? Let's say $200 a month. That's $2,400 lifetime value per student, compared to just $600 for the free trials. Now you multiply that by the 5 students who upsell, and that's an extra $12,000 in lifetime value from the exact same 10 students. And so we've actually seen this play out with one of our school owners, and he went from averaging around 5 to 6 free trial signups a month to 8 to 10 signups a month once he switched over to the high ticket program. And now let's take this a step further and talk about the actual ad spend, right? Because this is actually where the difference is really going to show up. So let's say that you're investing $1,500 a month on ads, and your cost per acquisition is $150 per student. So We'll keep those exact same numbers. We'll keep those exactly the same for both models just because the traffic and the ad cost is not what's changing here. So with the free trial, you're charging $200 for that first month, right? And you're not accounting for any registration fee, first and last month, uniform, just $200 to keep it simple. And so once you subtract the 150, it costs you to acquire that student. You're only netting around $50 per student before you even know that they'll actually stick around. And so across those same 10 students, that's $500 in profit that first month on a $1,500 ad spend, okay? Not exactly the sexiest. Now, compare that to the high ticket program. The same $1,500 ad spend, same 150 cost per acquisition, but instead of collecting $200, you're collecting $899 up front. So here's the cool part. That's $749 profit per student on day one. Before we even, that's $749 in profit per student on day one before we even talk about retention, okay? So across those same 10 students, that's $7,490 in profit your first month. Bro, that's almost 15 times more profit than the free trials, right? From the exact same ad spend, the exact same cost per lead, and the same amount of work, really, sometimes even less work. And this is really the point. So when you compare the $600 lifetime value against that 150 cost per acquisition, you're getting about a 4-to-1 return on your ad spend. But when you compare that $2,400 lifetime value against that same 150 cost per acquisition, now you're talking about a 16-to-1 return, okay? And so it's the same traffic, the same budget, the same leads, but the only thing that changed is what you sold them on the front end. And now here's something else that changes once you switch to the high ticket program. The sales conversation itself, right? With the free trial, there's almost no commitment required from the lead. And your job really here is just to, on that first touch point, is just, trying to convince somebody who isn't even sure that they actually even want to be there. And so at this point, you're just giving away your service to people who have a list of whole gyms that they want to try. Kind of this gym across the street, that dojo. You don't know what they're getting themselves into. They just know that they want to try something for themselves. Okay. With the high ticket program, the conversation is completely different. Now, you're actually sitting down with somebody here, having a consultation and a conversation. So this means that the person closing that conversation that they'll be having, they actually need to know how to sell that transformation. And so this is not just, checking people into a free class and then at the end of class, giving them a menu. What do you want to do? 3 times a week or unlimited? This is not that, okay? This is why the sales training matters just as much as the offer itself. Because if you put your best offer in front of somebody and that person closing doesn't know how to have that conversation, you're literally just lighting your money on fire. Now, when it comes to retention, that average 12-month number, that is not by luck, right? That's actually by design. It's literally built into the structure of the program itself. And so what happens is the student reaches their milestones, they do check-ins, coaching touch points, there's an entire system in place. And so by the time that the student finishes the program, they've already built the habit of showing up multiple times a week. They've hit their real goals and they built a relationship with you and your coaches. That's a completely different starting point than somebody who just tried one free class, comes in a couple times during the first month, and then by the end of that first month, they're still trying to decide if this is something that they want to continue doing or not. That commitment on the front end is what dictates the commitment on the back end. Now, I know where you're thinking right now. If I sell a program for $899, I'm going to get less leads coming through than if I just offered something for free. And yes, that's true. But we're not actually wanting to get more leads. It's not about getting the right leads. Yeah, we're going to get fewer people, but here's the thing. You're not trying to get more people through the door. What we're trying to do is get the right people through the door. Remember, the whole reason free trials feel safer is because they lower the barrier to entry. And so that same low barrier is what's getting you the tire kickers, the Groupon shoppers, the people who are never going to sign up and stick around for 3 months anyways. And so at the end of all this, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. Yeah, it's cliche, but it's totally true. Now, the fewer better leads that convert at a higher rate, they stay longer, and that will always beat a higher volume of leads that churn out fast on the back end. And this is not a belief, right? This is literally just the math that I just completely walked through with you. And so if you're still leading with a free trial, you're not just leaving money on the table, you're literally filtering in the wrong students and setting yourself up for churn that everybody in the industry complains about. And if you want to go deeper on exactly how to structure and sell one of these high ticket programs, I made a video on exactly just that. You can check it out by clicking right here.